me, Lisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I am going to get started on my December daily album. I have a few pictures from the first few days of December, and I believe I'm going to also create a title page. We'll see how it goes on how long I want this video to be. I do plan on keeping things simple for December daily because it can be a really overwhelming project. It's a busy time of year. I don't actually enjoy working on my December daily album after December. I like to start the new year new, and so I do like to complete it in this month. So I keep it simple, and that's kind of my plan. So I will go ahead and get started. I will link the things that I end up using down below so you can be sure to check that out. Otherwise, I'm going to put you all on fast forward. Let's go. All right, so I do apologize. This video ends up being a little bit longer than I intended. And the thing with a project like December Daily is I tend to work in batches. I don't usually scrap every day. I'll do it every few days. And if you feel like you're in a creative flow and things are going, then I try to just go with it. And that's kind of what happened here. I was reluctant to start just because it felt almost just starting the whole project is what it felt like. But once I got going, I was feeling pretty good with the first 3 days. So I do go ahead and scrap the first 3 days. So I'm starting off creating a title page, and I measured how big the paper needed to be for that particular page protector. And so I'm going to go with this as the starting point. It has a nice little place where I can put December. I still need to add the year. Once I watched this over, I realized that I forgot to write 2021, and that's okay. So I will trim out this piece. This was on the other side of that same paper once I had cut it down, and I'm going to use it just to layer onto the paper just to add a little bit more interest. So I'm just going to fussy cut the best I can around this. I usually like to start my December daily albums with the title page that has a year and usually a quote. So you'll see me pick a quote here in a minute that kind of sums up how I feel about this particular album. For this year, I decided that I wanted to do less of just our goings on, our day-to-day activities in December, which is what I normally would do. And I wanted to focus more on telling some stories as far as traditions that we do or things that generally happen each year. That's what I wanted to focus on more. So the focus of this whole album is going to be these stories because I do document our day-to-day in my memory planner. I'm going to keep up my memory planner for the year. So it's going to have a little bit of a different take. And I feel like if you are someone that doesn't have a super busy December, maybe you live by yourself, or maybe your family's far away and you maybe don't have as many activities, you could totally do a December daily where you are just documenting memories that you have from December's past or just different things like that. It doesn't have to be strictly like this is something that happened on December 1st. Like it doesn't have to be that way. And so that's why I'm changing up mine a little bit. All right, so I put down the extra piece that I fussy cut out. I also picked a tag that I'm going to add on. All of the pieces, or the majority of the pieces that I'm using, are actually from the Vicky Bouton Warm Wishes line. That's kind of forming the base of my album. And then I have a lot of December daily stuff left from previous years that I want to make sure and use as much as I can. So for instance, I think these letters, I think they're from Felicity Jane. That's my guess as to why I have these red letters. So I have December. I'll have to go back and add the year. I have my tag right here that will kind of layer there. I'm going to take it to the typewriter, and I added the quote, "We didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun," which I thought was just perfect for the season in my family's life. So it needs a little something underneath the tag just to add something else. I love this bell. I just used this bell on another project as well. Apparently I'm into bells this Christmas. So we'll see how that kind of plays itself out in my paper crafting. So I'm going to use that bell, and then maybe add these wooden stickers. These are embellishments. They're wooden embellishments that are already sticky on the back. And just to add a little bit more dimension, which I can totally do in this album because it has room to grow for sure. So I'm going to pop up the bell on the double-sided adhesive right here. This is foam adhesive. I just use the kind from the dollar store because it's been working really well for me. So I'll take off the backing and pop that up, and then I will also use those wooden stickers just to add a little bit more interest and warmth to the page. This whole album is going to have kind of a warm feeling, which is different from my previous December daily albums. And I think that's a fun way to go, just to change it up. So a lot of wood tones, a lot of these warm reds and greens, which when I was using just Felicity Jane products in the past, those tended to be on the cooler side. On the back of that intro page, I want to have a section where I just put my purpose for the album, where I kind of write it out so that you know what the plan was. So I'm gonna layer on a little bit more paper. Again, I always like layers. I like torn edges. I like it to feel worn at the same time. So I'll trim that off, and then I'm gonna measure and see how big of a piece of paper I can fit so I can run it through my typewriter. I'll probably be using my typewriter as much as possible. I do like to include my handwriting in albums like this. I make a lot of memory keeping albums, and I don't expect my kids to keep all of the albums, but I do want them to keep some of them. And so I do like to include my handwriting, because I know when I have pieces of paper that my grandmother wrote on, or when my mom wrote on them, they're special to me. So I want to include my handwriting, even though it's not my favorite. But for several pieces, I will definitely be typing, which is what I did. And really, I just wrote out how I was going to focus more on the stories, the traditions, the new ones, and the old ones that we've been doing forever as a family. I want to include all of those on this page. Love the little tab. I will add a title to the tab in just a bit as I start to do some more embellishing. And I pick up these stickers. Again, these are the Vicky Bouton stickers, I'm pretty sure. I love these ornaments and how they kind of hang. So I'm going to figure out how I can put those down on the page. And I don't often have puffy elements that stick off the page. And I don't know why I've never done that, because I love when things flow off the page. I think it adds a lot of interest. And so in this case, I am. Those ornaments hang off the page, and I'll trim them off just to change it up. So that's just something new for me. And when you're working with so many dimensional elements, some of them are going to have to go off the page. I don't know why I'm obsessed with this reindeer, but I totally was, and I totally really wanted it on the page. So, and I like the paperclip look. I think that is super cute. Over here on the side, I wrote together because I thought that was a good, or I used the sticker together. I thought that was a good summary of kind of the theme of our December. And then I'll just use these Tim Holtz letters to write out story, so that is the story of what our December will be. I'll just trim off the edges, and then our intro pages are done. Okay, I do struggle a little bit to get this back into the page protector, just because it has dimension on both sides, and it kept getting hooked up on either with the paper clip or the wooden embellishments. So it was a little bit of a struggle to get that in and out, but that's okay. Once it's in, it can stay in. There is a calendar page that I will be working on. I just didn't really feel like working on it on this particular day. I have a couple pictures pulled out, and this pretty vellum piece that I thought would be just a nice in-between page. When I'm working in December daily, sometimes I skip around, sometimes I do filler pages, and sometimes I have my quote-unquote filler pages or just fun pages. I wait to the end for those. So we'll see how it kind of develops. For the pictures, I do have pictures that are mostly from each day, but sometimes it's not necessarily an event that happened on that particular day, but a story that I wanted to record. So if it's a day that's not super eventful, maybe we didn't do a Christmas themed thing, maybe we didn't necessarily focus on a tradition, then perhaps that's a day where I use a picture to just tell a story. So day one, I have a stack of presents that is all wrapped, and that's from December the 1st. And we have a family tradition of using books under the tree as our Advent calendar. So we've done it since my daughter's very first Christmas. And what I do is I actually go to the library and I check out 25 Christmas themed books. I wrap them all up and we open one a day. I return them to the library as we open them. And we open it in the evening and we read it as a family, which is just a wonderful tradition. It's gotten harder to get all the books ready to go as things get busier, but my kids love it. They look forward to it. They were asking about it by the end of November, so I got all of those wrapped up just in time for December the 1st, so I wanted to include that. And then for December the 2nd, there are some yummy holiday treats that are from neighbors, and I kind of recorded the story of We don't watch a lot of holiday movies necessarily in our house. My husband and I are huge sports fans, and December is a very busy sports month. So we're really into college football. We're really into the NFL. We just like sports. And so a lot of times in the evenings when we are enjoying holiday treats or time together, we're actually watching sports. So I use that currently card to notate that. All right, you see me working on a tag right here. This is going to be a journaling tag. I have this really thick silver cord that's at the top. And what I'm going to do is tuck that journaling tag in behind the picture of the presents, because I don't really have a great space for journaling that particular story that I wanted to tell. So that will be sticking up from behind the picture, and that way you'll know to pick it out and read it. But the currently card is where I will kind of record that different story. So I'll add my journaling to the tag in a little bit. I'll go to the typewriter. I added in some of the story of what we're currently doing. Those are delicious treats from neighbors that drop them off that make whoopie pies every year at Christmas time. And they are delicious, and they came and dropped them off in the evening. So my husband and I definitely enjoyed those. I'm trying to look through the ephemera to see if I can find one that might be able to add to the picture. When you're doing pocket pages, sometimes it feels like it can be hard to find ways to embellish the pictures and use your embellishments. These Vicky Bouton embellishments are a little bit larger, so I will actually end up putting those away, reaching for some embellishments left from previous years, which are like a mix of Felicity Jane ones and just other ones I had in my stash. And I'll find some different ones that'll work, and I'll use the bigger ones on a bigger page, not necessarily in these little pocket pages. So here's my other stash, and you can see I'm just trying out different ones. I want to see what fits. I do like adding these little details onto the photos. You can definitely just stick the photos in and go with that, and that is better than nothing for sure. Like, any photo is better than no photo because you're so busy worrying about how perfect it's going to be. But I do like adding these little touches. I think they're fun and interesting as you flip through previous years. It's great to see those little touches, but mostly it's great to just see the photos and read the stories. I am able to find like a little tag that I'll be able to label this top picture just so that you'll know what the story is going to be about. And I just label it Advent. We use it as an Advent calendar. It's not necessarily our Advent study as a family. We do something different in the mornings for that, and I'll be documenting that later in December. So again, the same Tim Holtz letters. When you have some elements that repeat throughout an album like this, it really brings the album together. So I'll definitely be using these letters kind of throughout. The numbers I'm using right now are Felicity Jane numbers. I don't have enough of that gold number, so those will probably change. Generally, the numbers are one of the things that I have the same style throughout, and I don't think that's going to be the case this year because I'm kind of going through my stash and seeing what I have to work with. The picture that I want to document for day 3 will not fit in the 3x4 pocket pages. I printed it larger. I wanted it larger. And so instead I'm going to use these little pocket pages just as a decoration piece. And I'm going to tell just a tiny little story. For the month of December, I started cleaning out our house, and I generally do that every December. I choose one little area a day and start cleaning things out, and it helps me to get set for the holidays, for an influx of new things that generally come in as presents. And then it also helps me get set for the new year and feel a little bit more organized for the new year. My picture that I want to document for the 3rd is a picture of a bunch of throw pillows. So as I was organizing, I have a million throw pillows, decorative pillows that I've used all over our house. And it's a fun story to tell because my mother loves throw pillows. Like, she's obsessed with getting new pillows to decorate all the time. And we used to always make fun of her. And then I was working, cleaning out a little closet in our basement, and look at all of those throw pillows I have. I had to text her and let her know that she'd passed on her hoarding tendencies to me as far as pillows. So I took a picture of the pillows, and I thought that that was a fun story that I can tell, that I can type out. I like that it includes like a family story. Just, that's something that I will always remember about my mom, that she has this love for throw pillows. And so I thought it was funny that it was something that was passed on. All right, so I'm back on the 3x4 side. I'm cut apart that tag to kind of spread it across 2 different pocket pages, and then I'm just gonna layer it here. I'll have the title down using Tim Holtz stickers, and it'll say the big clean out. So I'll do that on this small part of the tag, and then I'll just write a quick little journaling entry on the other side of the tag. And that serves as filler because I didn't have anything I wanted to put on the back of these particular note pages, but it also continues that theme of still telling a story, because that's not necessarily super Christmassy, but it is something that happens with me and with our family every year. And so I thought it was important to kind of notate that as well. I'd be interested to hear if any of you guys like to clean things out in December like I do. I know that January is a big clean out month as everyone feels like they're refreshing for the year, but I kind of like to have a lot of it done before January starts. It's just always been my mentality, and it can be hard to do during December, and it doesn't always get done, but I always feel really accomplished that I got started on it. And I try to save my craft area for the end because it's actually an area that I really enjoy cleaning out and organizing. I don't necessarily enjoy going through all my kids' stuff and getting it organized and cleaning out closets and things like that, but I do super enjoy cleaning out my craft area. All right, so a couple of these stickers, the alphas weren't sticking very well, so I just added some adhesive underneath just to make sure they would stay put, and I will get that card back in and then use this little piece right here. I'll put that down and then add the journaling on in a moment. And then I will embellish that card with a few other small pieces like I did earlier. Again, I just like to add the little details, seeing what can fit. I'm trying to see if I want to use this chipboard piece. That didn't quite work. So this little pine cone, that'll be perfect because I feel like it goes with the kind of twig that the bird has, so it all kind of pulls together. So I'll add that in. I love using metallics in my December daily album. I feel like if ever you're going to use metallics, December is the time, just because winter feels magical, like you feel that brightness and that glitter. So I thought that that was perfect for there. I will add my documenting off camera and then put that card in. And now I just have to work on day 3. Day 3 is a little bit of a longer story than I'm wanting to tell, so I'm gonna look. I used a holiday bag. I think this is a Merry and Bright bag. I'm not sure where the glassine bag is from, but I punched holes in it, and then I'm gonna create my own tag that will go inside the bag, and that will allow me to write out the story of what I wanted to say about the throw pillows and how much I love throw pillows, and how I get that from my mother. So I'm just going to trim this down. I'll end up backing the tag as well, just so it covers up nicely, because on the back it's double-sided paper, but the back happens to be an area where there was some labels and stuff. And then I'll just mat this picture of all of the throw pillows on the front and put it on the front of the bag. So my December daily always is a mix of things that are in page protectors, and then every now and then you'll have pages that are not in page protectors. I do keep these albums inside, generally in like dust bags. Is that like the bags, you know what I mean, the bags that you put the albums in to keep them secure and dust free. So I'll keep them like that. I pull them out in December, put them out for my family to look through so we can kind of remember December past. But they're pretty well protected, so I'm not super worried about the pages that are not in page protectors. All right, so I'm backing that large tag that I cut out, and then there was a little bit that was like hanging over the top, and I was going to cut it, but then I decided to pull out this pom-pom trim that I am loving, and I'm going to add some dimension because, you know, I just love dimension in my December daily album. So I put down a little sticky adhesive and then some Fabri-Tac. The sticky double-sided adhesive holds it in place while the Fabri-Tac is drying. So I'm going to pull off this little bit and then adhere that on, and I'll add the journaling again off camera just so you don't have to see me write it all, but I'll just trim that out, and then you see the little pom-pom sticking out of the bag, and it is super, super cute. Before I finish with day 3, I did decide that I wanted to add something to this photo, a little embellishment of sorts. So I'm going through some of the word pieces I have from the Vicky Bouton line, and I end up deciding on Deck the Halls because I thought it was appropriate with all of these decorative throw pillows. So I will add that. It'll be popped up, and then I'll use that same silver cording that I used on a tag earlier to add a little dimension and sparkle behind it. And then my entries for days 1 through 3 will be done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your December has started off really well. If you're doing December daily, I hope you have a good jump on it for the month. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Like I said earlier, I will link supplies down below if you are interested in checking out any of the products I used today. Heads up, some of those will be affiliate links. It doesn't cost you any more to shop those links, but it does go a long way to helping me support this YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you want to find out more about Scrappy YouTube membership, make sure to click the join button or check the link in the description box. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.